Hi, everyone. Diana Rankin here with our weekly message from Phillip to answer one of the questions our viewers sent in. Every week we come on at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Friday afternoons, to answer your questions. You can put your questions in the comments below, or you can send them to me by email. My address is on my website, and that address is below, which is just my name, really, dianarankin.com, and you'll get me. Thank you for being here. Those of you who are able to come on live, I try to give you a few moments to catch up here before we actually get into the question and explain to those who are new to us what's going on. If you have questions that are of a personal nature, I do ask that you contact me privately and we'll set you up for a private session. If you have general questions, and you can go back, we've been doing this for a few years now, so you could go back and look at any of the questions and get an idea of what we're talking about. More esoteric questions that would be of interest to our whole audience. We also get a message from one of my books. We just open to any page and we'll get our wisdom from Phillip, my spirit guide, who is the one who answers the questions for me. So I just write out the answers so I don't have to think about it when I'm talking to you. As you know, for me, coming on camera and talking into the camera is harder than standing in front of a group of thousands. So this is interesting. So this is where I write out the answers, because I want to make sure I don't forget anything. We are having, where I am, a beautiful day here in rural Ohio. Well, not just in rural Ohio, all over central Ohio. It's probably going up to the mid 80s, but right now it's in the, where I live, it's not even 80 degrees yet. And so it's a lovely late summer day, early fall. But I understand in California from excuse me, friends there, that it's 115 degrees today out in the desert area where a friend and a client lives. And I know LA is also getting it. So sending coolness out that direction to California. And I know other places around the world are just having a really tough time of it heat-wise. California is not the only place. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. This is a follow-up question to a video we did a couple of weeks ago on spirit guides. So the questions today: how many spirit guides do humans typically have? And are their roles always the same? Interesting questions, aren't they? You guys always send in the most interesting questions, and I'm so grateful for them because I get to learn as well. Thank you. Here's what Phillip has to say about these questions. The number of guides from spirit for each human depends on the individual and the need. With rare exception of only one of the highest order, all humans have a spirit guide. This is, as you have taught others, the main guide, or as you say, the communicator. When Phillip says, as you have taught others, he's talking actually to me in my 3-day workshop, Awakening to Deeper Intuition. I always say we want to begin work with the main guide, and I call that main guide the communicator, because we have multiple guides, which Phillip will get into, and we need one guide who has had human life, who understands our language and can talk to us. Because think about, if you have a dozen people standing around you trying to talk at the same time, none of it makes sense. So in fact, one of the processes we do is one person talks in this ear, one person talks in this ear, and gives you suggestions such as you are beautiful, you can do this, you are pure love, you will get through this, or whatever the message is that the person in the middle getting the messages needs to hear. So we want to ask for that main guide. And I do have, I think I have a video out there, as well as one of my blogs, gives you 5 to 7 ways of connecting with your spirit guide. So Phillip goes on to say, this guide works with you. This is our main guide. This guide works with you before human birth and after returning to spirit. With rare exception, this guide has spent time in human form, which allows them to communicate in a form familiar to you. After the guide is a former spiritual, I can't read my own writing sometimes. Often, the guide is a former spiritual teacher, but your guide may come for reasons to guide, not teach. So the former lives together may not be that of teacher and student. This depends upon the individual and what is agreed on before human breath. So our guide may be a teacher. Philip is a teacher, obviously, but your guide may have a different purpose, your main guide. So not always is the main guide a teacher, Philip is saying. Philip uses a different syntax than I'm used to, and so forgive me for stumbling over some of the words here. Philip goes on to say, for some, the main guide may be an elder from this current life. This brings with it the comfort of familiarity. This relationship continues only if the guide has the wisdom needed. In addition to your main spirit guide, there are others from spirit world here to help. Sorry, my hair gets caught on the back of the chair and pulls me backwards. The downside of long hair. The upside is I can pull it up a lot, and it's really warm in the winter. Okay. Philip goes on to say, like your spirit guide, they may be with you from birth to death, or may come into your energies called upon and leave when no longer needed. So this is in addition to your main spirit guide or communicator, or just call him the spirit guide. He's telling us there are these others around us. The question asks for the number of guides for a typical human. There is only one spirit guide. However, there are many spirits around humans. For example, most humans have a healer, a protector, and teachers of various topics. Humans may have a spirit comforter, a banker, business person, creator, musician, or even a magician. Since each individual is unique, the number and type of guide varies on the individual's need. And what Philip is also telling us there, that we can call in a guide or a healer or whatever it is we need, and that person may not be with us our whole life. The spirit guide, our main guide, our communicator, is with us before birth and after death. So that person, that guide, is with us forever and always with us. But we may have additional guides that we can call in, including a banker if we need help with money, a business person if we need help with our business, a creator to help us create, a musician, or even a magician if we need something magical happening. All right. Philip goes on to say, since each individual is unique, the number and type of guide varies on the individual's need. The question was also asked if the roles are always the same. Yes and no. The healer, for example, will always act as the healer. The banker will always act in that capacity. Your spirit guide, however, is multifunctioning. They are the communicator to help you understand all spirits with whom you wish to speak. They also guide you in decision making. Are your protector, can guide you in making decisions, including health decisions. Are your teachers and comforters. They can also be a lovemaking partner. Your spirit guide can be multifunctioning and take on many roles. Excuse me. Again, that's the main guide that Philip is speaking of. Of the other members of your team, this is seldom true. So what Philip is saying is our spirit guide our main guide can have multiple roles, but those that we call in separately, some are with us our whole life, some are only with us on a very temporary basis, such as the banker or the healer or the protector, whomever we need. We just call them in, and that is their role, whereas the spirit guide can have multiple roles. Philip goes on to say, the purpose of every spirit guide is to guide you to live your highest service. The purpose of all those in spirit who help you is the same. The healer, for example, helps you to live in good health, which for many is a necessity to do their work in the world. I feel that I can't do my work if I'm not in good health. So my healer, Isadora, is there when I need her. Even if it's just a little nick on my finger or a hangnail that hurts or something, Isadora, help. And I'm telling you, it's magical because she will heal it almost immediately. And, many years back now, I think I was in my 60s. I had a motorcycle spill, and I know people look at me and say, "You rode a motorcycle?" And yes, I did, and I loved it. I didn't ride it when I taught at the university, but I rode it outside, and sometimes my students would see me. And it was kind of like, this is our instructor or teacher or professor here? Anyway, I had a spill, and it took me about 2 months to get back home. I was in the hospital quite a while. I was in a nursing home, and then I stayed with a friend because I had 8 broken bones, 7 on the left side, including a leg and the clavicle and the shoulder. And I have to tell you, it was one of the most peaceful times of my life because I couldn't do a whole lot. And on the right hand, that was hard because I couldn't journal. But what was so beautiful about that is that's when I met Isadora, my healer. And the doctors kept saying, "You're healing so quickly, especially for somebody your age." I kept hearing, especially for somebody your age, but I kept hearing how quickly I was healing and how it was rather amazing, the spill I took, that I just had a few broken bones and none of those bones were going to cause permanent damage, et cetera, et cetera. So let me tell you, it does work. Okay, Phillip goes on to say, a scientist may need to call in a scientist who is currently in spirit world to help with a discovery, to help people, for example. I've called in a banker before to say, "Come on, help me out here. Let's. How do we do this?" Okay, so call them in. Call them in. Whatever help is needed by the human is available. It is merely a manner of asking. It is most important the asking be done in love, and in asking clarity be made that only those who come in love may enter your energy. I'm going to reread those last couple of paragraphs in part because I interrupted myself. Your spirit guide can be multifunctioning and take on many roles. That's the main guide. Of the other members of your team, this is seldom true. The purpose of every spirit guide is to guide you to live your highest service. The purpose of all those in spirit who help you is the same. The healer, for example, helps you to live in good health, which for many is a necessity to do their work in the world. A scientist may need to call in a scientist who is currently in spirit world to help with the discovery to help people. Whatever help is needed by the human is available. It is merely a manner of asking. It is most important the asking be done in love, and in asking clarity be made that only those who come in love may enter your energy. And I think that is really, really important, that when we're working in spirit world, we want to make sure those who come to us are coming in love only. We're going to get our message, but I want to say hello, Judith. And it does say that our chat was disconnected. For those of you who are trying to get on live, I apologize. Who knows what was going on the internet that caused the chat to be disconnected. But Judith, we're glad you were able to make it, and she's sending all of us hearts of love. Thank you. Let's get our message, shall we? Now, I just flip through until my finger stops, and I'm hearing left. If you heard left, we're in sync, and your intuition, my intuition are in sync. If you heard right, then that's a message you need to listen to. So on the left, it says, the richer your life, the greater your legacy to the world. The richer your life, the greater your legacy to the world. Oh, my friends, have a rich life of joy and happiness. I started videos and then writing short articles on moments of joy and would put them out on my Facebook page. And I'll put more of those on my blog as well. I haven't had the time to do that. I have so many moments of joy every day. I could just sit here and talk about moments of joy, excuse me, forever. I don't have time to tell everybody about them, but may you have these rich moments of joy in your life. So if you heard left, the richer your life, the greater your legacy to the world. If you heard right, when your mind is occupied with a positive thought, there is no room for a negative thought. When your mind is occupied with a positive thought, there is no room for a negative thought. Recently, we're going through in the US, and I think everybody in the world knows this. Good. Lexi Luna got on and she says, hi, Diana and Phillip, sending lots of love to you and all watching and lots of hearts here. Thank you. Appreciate your coming on and glad you're with us. But all of this that's going on in the world, and here in the US, people are saying, will the former president get arrested for his part in the January 6th insurrection and what he's done to the country, et cetera, et cetera. I won't even go into all of it. But some people are saying never, no. Some people are saying never should happen. And others are saying, you know what? Let's hold him accountable and let's build a more peaceful, loving world. People who harm others will more and more be held accountable regardless of their position. So let's have that positive, upbeat. Let's not be doomsdayers. Let's create that which we want our world to be. Every thought is a creator. Every thought. So what are you creating in your lives? And what are you creating in our world? Let's create the best we can. That's not to say ignore what's going on. Absolutely not. Let's be aware of what's going on and let's change it. We may start with anger. That's okay. Let that anger, though, change to positive power. There you go. Positive power. The blog I put out on my site this week was Love or Fear. You might want to go read it. It's just www.dianarankin.com. When you get there, click on blog. If it's not the first one to come up, then just unsearch, type in Love and Fear. I think you might be surprised. Anyway, my friends, I'm so glad Judith and Lexi were able to join us. For those who tried to get on and were unable to connect, I apologized. I'm out in a rural area and we don't have the best internet connection. But it may not have even been my internet connection. It could be something else. So who knows? So anyway, thank you, my friends. I love you. I'm so grateful you were here with me today. I so appreciate your support and your questions. Put them below or send them to me. I'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.